Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Don Labonte. This begins our third hour of progressing through the conversation pattern study that we have. We'll be studying 8 patterns today that you see on the left. If you go to the teacher's guide, this is under the file I am verb ing. You can either print this out or write it on a blackboard and have the students write it down themselves. Once again, on the left-hand side here, on the right-hand side, you'll find these mixes. These are basically about 50 questions which are going to review these 2 patterns. As we go to 3B, it's going to incorporate these, an extra pattern. 4C, it just progresses right down through the patterns as we study them. In the first 2 hours, we studied the question-making patterns for a verb using a question with do, did, will, don't, didn't, and won't. In hour 2, we studied patterns that use this question form. However, with patterns that you see here on the left, these 8 patterns, because the verb to be is used, we do not use these forms in order to make the question. When you find a form of the verb to be in a sentence, the question simply forces the verb to the front. Instead of you are reading, which is the sentence, it's are you reading. If the students are not familiar with the verb to be and how to make a question, you may have to take extra time in order to familiarize that with them. I do have a printout from the teacher's guide. It's called Adjective, How to Make a Question, and Adjective, How to Make a Sentence. And this will basically give a snapshot on how that the question format is made, and the sentence. You can print those out for the students so that they can have a quick and easy guide to this. The first 5 or 10 minutes of the class I use to review what we've learned in the first 2 hours to make sure that they have practiced it a bit. Once again, they still may make some mistakes, but as we progress on, those mistakes will evaporate and they'll become quite familiar with the use of do, did, will, etc. However, in this particular third hour, we're studying some of the patterns which relate to using the verb to be in the question. To be. I begin with the very simplest, and I just go down, one at a time, always referring back, reviewing, going back and forth until I get to the very end. And the questioning format that I have is the basic one that we've used in the first 2 hours of having the variables here of the positive question and the negative question, with the present, the past, and the future. And I will choose them at random, making questions. And for example, if I say, are you studying? They should say, I am studying. If I say, are you going to study? They should say, I am going to study. Isn't she able to go? She isn't able to go. Once again, if I ask a positive question, I want a positive sentence with an answer. If I ask a negative question, I want a negative sentence as the answer. The point of this is that I want to see if they can, once again, hear that it is a positive question and be able to respond positively if it's a negative question with a negative sentence. If I ask a negative question and they're always answering with a positive answer, that's telling me that they don't feel that they're not that comfortable with the negative forms of these verbs. So it's my way of both weaving in and out of the different patterns in the past, the positive, and the future through negative and positive questions, trying to develop their skills of hearing and their ability to speak. If they're able to say the pattern, usually it's much easier for them to hear it. So during the hour process, 10 minutes of it is spent with reviewing what we learned in the first 2 hours. The The next 50 minutes is basically going through 8 patterns. It's not a lot for them to get used to. I'm not asking them to, memorize thousands of or hundreds of vocabulary words. It's 8 simple patterns, after which they should be able to respond. If I say, "Are you thinking of going?" they should say, "I'm thinking of going." "Isn't it all right to go?" "It isn't all right to go." "Are you supposed to study?" "I am supposed to study." "Weren't they going to go?" "They weren't going to go." So you as the teacher have to bring them through this process to familiarize them with the patterns and work through these patterns to build on the building blocks which they already have. Thank you very much.